and a very happy Christmas. To you, Your Royal Highness. Thank you. Our President for over 30 years, showing just how committed, passionate and supportive he is of our agenda. Thank you, Ollie, and thanks to Richard Hutton and to Anthony. And later we'll say a few more thank yous to Anthony as we thank him properly for his tremendous legacy. Thanks also to our brilliant trustees, because they give us so much support in every possible way. And in particular, those who have generously supported the AGM today in this beautiful venue. It's like a three-sided agora. It's very lovely for it. And all our leadership teams and advisory teams and their chairs. Genuinely, we are so fortunate to have such business stars who are driven to make a difference. And our new members here today who have joined business in the community as they too want to show active leadership on the subject of responsible business. So if I may, could I ask all our new members to stand, and I'd love to give them a round of applause. And forgive a moment of indulgence, I'd like to give my thanks to you, Team BITC, who are all at the back up over there. You have done the movement proud this year through a lot of change. A team of people so dedicated to responsible business, who truly live and breathe it and work tirelessly for our members to achieve it. So in our lives, we're often asked to be more reasonable, not to rock the boat. But the world doesn't feel terribly reasonable at all right now. In any one month, we're all asked to assimilate so many paradoxes along lines of lies, and damn statistics, or even the other way around. It's estimated that the person who will live to 200, yes, 200, has already been born, and yet we only have 60 harvests left because we've so ravaged the soil with chemicals. There are 4 million children in poverty in the UK, but 2/3 of them live in a family where there is at least one person in employment, and yet unemployment is at an all-time low. All coupled with cries that business doesn't do enough, that there are no moral business people, and no one trusts it. And yet, every person in this room is here because you, like me, believe that we have a responsibility to create healthy communities with successful businesses at their heart, and are willing to put your money and your actions where your mouth is. So if we are all here because we believe that, are you better this year than last? If we were able to aggregate all the responsible business data, would we be able to see an improvement? Or have we lost some of our own drive? Are we all such victims of poverty porn and issue fatigue that we are proof of that saying, a confused mind says no? So here we are gathered together, our precious mutual movement of responsible business. Let's make our New Year's resolutions early, that we can and should do more. Let's be just the right amount of unreasonable to get the job done. The system of business and society and healthy communities is inextricably linked. And whilst business can do more to create sustainable, thriving communities, I think we also have to create an environment that appreciates what business does. And to paraphrase, business eats politics for breakfast when it comes to what matters to people. Increasingly, we shouldn't need politicians to tell us how to act. We shouldn't need to wait to be told what targets we need to achieve on diversity or sustainability. And frankly, if Mr. Trump copped out of COP21, then we certainly don't need to. If the focus on Brexit means social mobility isn't being tackled, then I know business will step up and lead the way, as it is already doing in parts. Who could have imagined a world where if a business operates sustainably and serves their community, they will get access to a lower cost of capital? Or where bankers do blind adjusted recruitment to ensure social mobility? Or retailers remove food from shelves before its sell-by date so it stands a better chance of being redistributed to those that can't afford it? Well, that is happening, as we speak. Business people are coming to work every day making long-term decisions which are disruptive to their business model but do good, acting on principles which may cost them financially in the short term, but it's the right thing to do, so they do it. Of course, they have to balance the pressures of their every day, but they know in their hearts that doing well by doing good prevails. Is it perfect? Of course not. Can everyone do more? Definitely. And there are some exceptionally good business leaders out there. For sure, I thank you. Which leads me to reasons to be proud. So I'm now going to go through some of the campaign results from this year. Your network has led the way with some fantastic campaigning. The RACE campaign goes from strength to strength, and it's the team that the government looks to on business measurement and reporting. The gender campaign is shortly to launch Equal Lives, which will be a massive consultation on the role of men in the home in order to tackle some of the underlying issues that prevent true equality. The Age campaign, who are the government's business champions for older workers, are making incredible strides and have already got over 1 million older workers back into the workplace. Our Wellbeing campaign continues to challenge taboos, identifying that 15% of workers, as a result of declaring a mental health issue, were discriminated against, which raises the bar yet again. And the toolkits for business on suicide prevention or how to cope after a suicide for colleagues are phenomenal. Employment and Ready for Work programme continues apace, and our programme, which ensures recruitment criteria are fair and helpful to our young people, is more popular than ever. And it's future-proof, and with City and Guilds, it's really fabulous. Our social enterprise workers helped create almost 5,000 jobs, and with a gross value add of about 300 million. Our business connectors continue to be quite sensational out in the communities of greatest need, and then they return to their businesses as better, more inspired leaders. We must keep the momentum going on this programme. We've just published a report which outlines that with 6 years of lottery funding, for every pound invested, over £10 has been leveraged. Not a bad return on investment of anyone's money. In education, we help business provide skills-based volunteering strategically through business class. We've now a huge body of experience of practical action and what works, as well as great in-depth learning as to how to help transform a school for the benefit of pupils. And I'd like to say a personal thanks to Paul at this moment, because he has massively led that. He's been one of our most incredible trustees, and we're eternally grateful for everything you've done. Thank you. Yeah. Work in Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales is closely linked to their government's devolved strategies, and it's very pleasing that they recognise just how valuable business and business in the community is to helping them achieve their goals. We've merged the marketplace and international leadership teams, creating a new global goals leadership team, which is concentrating efforts on purpose and the sustainable development goals as the drivers of business growth and positive social impact. And there is so much more, be it environment, circular economy, water task force, but I hope you feel our business-led campaigning work is live, vibrant and serving you well. And of course, there's the fabulous work from all our regional leadership teams too. So, our job as business in the community is to help every member be the best they can be at responsible business. And as a prerequisite of that, it's defining what responsible business is. It may seem obvious, but what we hadn't refreshed for quite some time was defining what being a responsible business actually means. Something which, of course, is pretty fundamental and yet always changing. 30 years ago, it probably meant corporate philanthropy, and now it means intrinsic responsibility. Building healthy communities cannot be a byproduct of successful business. It is essentially what the purpose of business must be. And I believe long-term financial success comes with that focus. So I'm very pleased to say that after significant consultation, on our new website, you will find our responsible business map. The world needs another model, probably like a hole in the head. So we've very deliberately drawn together great thinking, consulted widely, and called this a map because we want companies to review where they are and make a commitment to get better every year. It's as simple as that. To that end, there will also be a tracker, which again will work with other benchmarks, so efforts are not wasted, and help our members with a clear way forward. We will also direct you to partners who can help you achieve something, even if it's not us. Dare I say it, think of us as your TripAdvisor of responsible business, but only bringing you 5-star partners. We then all need to ensure that all of those efforts don't work in splendid isolation, and we look at the impact that all our campaigns can bring in our cities and our towns. So let's spend the rest of our time together thinking about our healthy communities and how the collective strength in the room can create them. To an extent, business in the community has been a victim of its own success, with the proliferation of programmes in over 200 places in the UK. This is a good thing. But if we can convert random acts of responsible business into collective strength, creating compound impact, then how much more successful could things be? So we have several cities where we have started pulling those efforts together, always supported by a local business connector and in close partnership with the local council, local services and the third sector, and every bit community-led. It's the same principle, but one which requires more thought, if we then apply that to some of our most deprived towns. So we created Pride of Place. So shortly, we will meet the brilliant visionary leaders who are bringing this to life, who are practically helping to regenerate our towns. If I was to use business language, what we are doing is practicing systems thinking at a community level. And as part of this magnificent jigsaw, I'm also pleased to say we are trialling Trading for Good, a digital network site for small businesses to shout about the good that they can do, and then capture, encourage, teach and share that social impact, and teach and share that social impact. Imagine if we can get this network really humming, help SMEs to be resilient, be cyber ready, which is the work of our Business Emergency Resilience Group, Berg, as well as really tackle community issues on the ground. The effect could be phenomenal, and if we link it with the supply chains, even more so. To accelerate this work, we are creating a new place leadership team, combining the strengths and leadership we already have, and I'm delighted to welcome Steve Rowe as the CEO of M&S as the chair of that team. M&S have led the way by creating Plan A and continue to be a warrior of sustainability and community health. So today, I have asked you to be proud of what you and your movement has achieved. And going forward, I ask you to be strong, impactful, and just the right side of unreasonable, so that together, when we meet this time next year, we'll have collectively gotten better at responsible business. And may we never forget that as disruptive as the digital revolution may be, as catastrophic as the environmental issues may be, as profound as the social issues are, it is the humanity at stake which drives us. So it now gives me great pleasure to introduce someone who couldn't be more driven by humanity, a fellow Yorkshireman from God's own country, a genuine genius thinker and an agent provocateur, Lord Victor Adebowale. And thank you very much.